making a quick video and showing you how to use warcraft logs and WoW Analyzer to help improve your gameplay. So to get started, you're going to hit the story little lines at the top, hit rankings, it's going to load. And then at the top here, you're going to have some information that you can use. This is just showing you the top 10 DPS for every boss. So to get started, you're going to hit all classes and you're going to go to your particular class if you don't even know where to start. For example, if you're a warlock and you want to know what specs best, you can just click on warlock here and it'll show you the top 10 DPS warlocks for each fight. And most of them are destruction currently. So if you're trying to raid as a warlock, you should probably become a destruction warlock. But if we go to my own personal class fire mage, I can pull a lot of information out of here to help me prepare for particular fights. For example, if I want to prepare for Wrathion, I can use this information and kind of copy what the best mages are doing to help me for this fight. So I can see that everyone's using Lucid Dreams and, Conflict and Strife Minor, and a lot of the minors are starting to add up. There's a couple differences, but that can be simmed out. But these are the major essences that I should be going for right here. These Azerite traits, everyone's running triple Blaster Master, so I should probably be getting those as Blaster Master traits as well. Everyone's using double unused Trinket, so I should probably get double unused Trinket as well. There's a reason why every mage in the top 10 is running the same things. These are the tools that are going to allow you to do the most damage. There's a couple variations here. For example, on Wrathion, Living Bomb is used on one mage, but most mages are using Conflagration. It's usually better to just go with the top talents and using what's best overall for the fight. So Wrathion's more single target based, so Conflagration is just mostly going to be better except for a couple of cases. We can see that here that most mages are Conflagrations because of this. But if we scroll down to a fight like Hive Mind, we see that the talents change a little bit. A lot of people are using the the AoE choice of Living Bomb over Conflagration. This is something that changes on a fight by fight level for different classes. Some classes change more than others. The essences for Fire Mage don't really ever change, and we can see that here that everyone's using the same thing as well as trinkets. But before you go into any fight, you should be preparing and making sure that you're running the correct things for that fight. But you should always be checking warcraft logs as well. Sometimes things change, and just making sure that you're prepared for that as well. At the beginning of the patch, which was pre-nerf, we can see a lot of changes. So first off, some mages are running flame patch. The trinkets are not all double unuse. Some people are still trying to grind that double unuse out. And if I only looked at the beginning of the patch what people were doing on Wrathion, and I just kept doing the same thing over and over again, and I was one of the people running flame patch, I would be behind compared to what current mages are doing. And just making sure you're staying updated with a lot of your class's information is always helpful. So nextly, Warcraft logs is not just used for DPS, healers also use it as well as tanks. So if we could click Mistweaver here, it's going to show you the top DPS for Mistweaver monks, but Mistweaver monk's a healer, so you're going to go to the top left again here. You're going to hit healing instead of damage. And you can pull a lot of information here just based on what monks are doing. So we can see a lot more changes here as compared to fire mages. So the trinkets change. So for Wrathion, a fight which I'm guessing you need more mana for, everyone's running Lucid Dreams and Claw, as compared to a fight like Mount, where everyone's running Titan Shard and some variation of Dragon Scale or Pocket Size Compendium. And sometimes things just change, as well as Azerite. And these big changes like this are the reason why you don't just go off one source, and you always look to see what the top people are doing and making sure that you're prepared for the fight. And this is how you do that, just by going through the logs and making sure that your talent's essences and everything you can be doing is correct. So to use Warcraft logs, I'm going to go back to my Fire Mage here for how to dive deeper into logs and seeing how you can do better on specific fights. So give me a second here. So if we're to take this mage, for example, who's an EU mage, I can compare him to myself. So this is his 5-minute fight on Wrathion. As compared to our kill on Wrathion. I can pull up here. This is my log as compared to his log. We can see that there's a couple of differences here. So for example, he has a 5-minute fight. I have a 9-minute fight, which is something I need to keep in mind. Um, so if I just quickly start comparing the logs, I can see a couple things right off the bat. So I have 101 casts of Power Blast. He has 95 casts of Power Blast, but his fight was 5 minutes. So obviously, I need to be casting Power Blast more. I'm doing something wrong there. I need to be re-looking at my gear, making sure that I'm not screwing up my combustion windows. Maybe I'm not doing other things correctly. Making sure that I'm getting those casts up because there's a reason why he's doing more damage to me, and one of those reasons is he's casting Power Blast more. I can also see that Fire Blast. He casted Fire Blast 77 times. I casted Fire Blast 97 times. I need to cast Fire Blast more. And also prep for raids, just by going through their other people's logs quickly and making sure that I'm doing everything correctly. So, for example, right here, he's using Superior Battle Potion of Intellect as compared to my Unbridled Fury. Um, I mean to click that. I'll get into that in a second. So I use Unbridled Fury, use Superior Battle Potion of Intellect. I need to do research on that and make sure that I'm using the correct potion just to get those small DPS increases. Bigger things though is cooldown usage. Cooldowns are always important to use at the appropriate time. Here, if we go on this guy's log and we click combustion, we can see everywhere where he had combustion active and was doing damage. I can do this for my log as well. Just click combustion. And we can see that these mostly add up. He obviously has less because his fight was shorter. But we can see where it happened, and we can see that it mostly lines up. So I had a combustion at 4 minutes instead of 5 minutes. I may want to look at that and do a better job of that. But overall, these first two combustions are well. Maybe I need to do something a bit different here, and um, and just looking to making sure that your cooldown usage is correct is important, and not wasting those cooldowns for specific moments, and making sure that you're doing as good a job as you can at prepping for those and using your cooldowns well and just prepping for the fight. Another tool you can use is the replay tool and just see how they are playing. So if we go on this guy's fight, sorry, the replay tool is at the top right here. Yeah. So if you click the replay tool, it's just going to replay the fight entirely. So if we start the fight here and we click on the mage, this guy, we can see button by button what he's pressing and how he's playing. So he's obviously just doing damage at the moment. We can 2 times this and kind of see how he plays as well. We can see positioning as well. So if we top to when Rathion flies away, which should be soon, we can see Rathion flying away here, the big mage, which is when we're watching. We can see that he does a bit more damage before going back and just double blinks back. So we can see right here, he just blinks by the teleport. Yeah. And we also see that by his current ability press. And just saying, hey, maybe I should be maxing my damage out that way too. Or if I die in a certain spot, I can see how other mages are playing it and maybe playing the way they're playing because they did the best damage, but they need to live in order to do damage. So just trying to copy those people and trying to play the best you possibly can is always helpful. So the next tool we're going to be looking at is Warcraft. Sorry, not Warcraft logs, WoW Analyzer. But to use WoW Analyzer, you need your Warcraft logs. So you're going to pull your log, you're just going to copy and paste it. It's going to load up all the information. And it's going to give you a checklist of what you did right and what you need to improve on. So I did these things correctly, and these are things I need to work on. So I used my combustion well, I used my procs well, my talents I used well. I need to work on my downtime. Rathion's a fight where there is a lot more downtime, so sometimes you need to use your brain and check to see, hey, maybe downtime's an issue on this fight, and that's not all I should be looking at, or that wasn't the whole problem. But Warcraft Logs is really just good at showing you the numbers on how you could play a fight better. So I could have casted Fire Blast 129 times, so I should be looking at just pressing Fire Blast more and just making sure that number goes up. Sometimes, as it says right here, WoW Analyzer is a bit nitpicky, but all these things just increase your DPS. If it seems nitpicky, it might be, but like sometimes the nitpicky things increase your DPS, and it just should be things that you should be looking to use. WoW Analyzer isn't just for DPS. You can also use it for healers. Um, Healing is a bit more different though, as sometimes healing can change based on what your DPS are doing. So if we go back to Mistweaver, we can take this guy's log and we can just throw it into WoW Analyzer. And once it loads, it's just going to give us some basic information on how this guy could have played it differently and maybe what he can do better. Um, Obviously, he might have been parsing this time around or whatever it may be, but just trying to use WoW Analyzer and be like, hey, I never thought of that, or yeah, it's right, I need to be using my Fire Blast more, because that's just going to bring up my DPS. The more buttons you press, the more damage you're going to do. It doesn't matter what your gear is. It just, sometimes just playing the fight better, and this is the best way to know how to play a fight better, is just to go over the logs and use WoW Analyzer to the best of your ability, and just improve on what all the directions are telling you to improve on. If you need the logs, they're in Discord. You can also ask any officer, and they can link you to logs on whatever fight you're on. But yeah, thanks for listening. Have a good day. Bye.